The Galactic Hall was alive with laughter that day. Silver walls shimmered under blue light as thousands of alien delegates filled the seats. At the center, on a floating throne made of crystal, sat the Emperor of the Dravkar Empire, tall, scaled, and cruelly proud. His deep voice echoed across the hall. "Humans," he said with a mocking smile, "the tinkers of dirt and metal. They think they belong among the stars." Laughter erupted around him. The other races joined in, soft, hissing, clicking laughter from every corner. To them, humanity was nothing more than noisy mechanics who built machines but lacked elegance or grace. The Emperor lifted a golden cup. "Very well," he said. "If Earth wants an alliance, I shall send them a gift." The hall quieted. Everyone leaned forward. "My daughter," he said with cold amusement. "The one I could never marry off. The one who embarrasses my name." Gasps filled the air. His daughter, Princess Lura, stood behind him, her head bowed. Her skin was a soft green, her build heavier than most of her kind, her hands trembling slightly. She had always been a quiet soul, mocked even by her own people. The Emperor looked back at her, sneering. "Perhaps the humans will find her useful. After all, they enjoy fixing broken things." More laughter. Lura's heart pounded. She had heard her father's cruel words many times, but this was different. Sending her away to humans as a joke was a humiliation she could not refuse. In her culture, a daughter could not deny her father's will. She lowered her head and whispered, "As you command." The Emperor turned to the council. "Let it be done. Send her to the human colony on Titan. Let them think it's a token of friendship." 2 weeks later, the transport ship Cravath landed on Titan, Saturn's cold industrial moon. A thin mist covered the metal ground. The human workers stopped what they were doing as the alien vessel opened. Out stepped Lura, dressed in royal silks that looked strange among the oil and dust of the human colony. She expected laughter. She expected fear. But instead, there was silence. Hundreds of human eyes watched her. Engineers, miners, pilots, all staring. Some whispered. Others simply turned away, unsure of what to do. At the back of the crowd stood a man named Cole Rayner, a mechanic known for fixing anything that broke. He had grease on his arms and a wrench in his pocket. He tilted his head, studying her carefully. She didn't look dangerous. She looked lost. A human officer approached her. "Princess Lura of Dravkar, welcome to Titan Colony," he said in an awkward tone. "We, hope you find your stay comfortable." Lura looked around. "Comfortable," she repeated softly, the words strange in her mouth. "Yes," the officer nodded quickly. "We have prepared quarters for you near the workshop. You'll meet the team tomorrow." She followed quietly, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the orange light of Saturn glowed faintly through Titan's thick clouds. That night, Lura sat alone in her quarters, a simple metal room with a single bed and humming machines outside the window. She touched the glass and whispered, "Father sent me here to be laughed at," but no one answered. Only the low hum of engines filled the silence. She thought of home, the golden palace, the gardens, the endless stares of pity from her people. She remembered the servants whispering, "She's too large, too quiet, not like the others." A single tear slipped down her cheek. Morning came with the sound of engines roaring. Outside, humans worked on massive machines that mined Titan's icy crust. Sparks flew through the air. The smell of metal and oil filled the colony. Lura stepped outside in her plain dress, trying not to attract attention, but humans noticed her immediately. Some snickered, a few pointed. "Is that the Emperor's daughter? Looks more like a bodyguard. She doesn't even know how to hold a wrench." Their laughter stung, even though she didn't fully understand all the words. Cole, the mechanic, watched from a distance. He saw the way her shoulders slumped, how she tried to look small, even though she was tall and strong. Something in his chest twisted, not pity but curiosity. He grabbed a wrench, wiped his hands, and walked over. "You lost?" he asked casually. Lura blinked, surprised that someone was talking to her normally. "I am not lost," she said slowly. "I was sent here to learn," Cole grinned. "Learn, huh? Then you're in the right place. We break things every day." For the first time, Lura smiled. Just a small, unsure smile. He handed her a spare wrench. "Here, you'll need this more than a crown." She took it carefully, staring at the rough metal tool like it was a treasure. Thank you, Cole," he nodded. "That's what we do here. We fix things." Behind them a few humans muttered jokes, but Cole didn't care. He pointed toward the massive machine they were repairing, a broken reactor pump. "Let's start with that." "Just follow my lead." Lura hesitated, then stepped forward. She knelt beside him, watching closely as he showed her how the tools worked. Hours passed. For the first time in her life, no one ordered her around. No one called her useless. Cole even laughed when she dropped a bolt, teasing lightly. "You're a natural. Just need more grease on your hands." She laughed too, a sound that startled even her, far above Titan. In the Emperor's golden palace, news reached the throne room. "Your daughter has joined human laborers," the messenger said. "She works with machines," the Emperor smirked. "Perfect. Let the galaxy see what happens when royalty mixes with dirt." But as he laughed again, a faint signal flashed across his royal monitor, a small image of his daughter, smiling beside a human mechanic. And for a brief second, his laughter stopped. He did not yet know that his cruelest insult had just begun to change the future of the galaxy. The next morning began with the echo of engines and the smell of burning metal. Titan Colony was always loud, a place where machines never slept and humans worked from sunrise to sunset. Yet among all the noise, one strange silence remained. Everyone watched the alien princess with quiet curiosity. Lura walked through the dusty hangar with her head slightly bowed. Her skin shimmered faintly green under the cold lights, and her heavy steps echoed against the metal floor. She wore a simple grey worker's suit now instead of her royal dress, but it still felt uncomfortable. Every human glance made her heart tighten. Some whispered as she passed, "Look at her arms. She doesn't belong here. Bet she doesn't even know what a bolt is." She pretended not to hear. On her homeworld, she'd been laughed at too, for her size, her softness, her quiet voice. It was nothing new, but somehow, here among humans, it hurt more. Cole Rayner watched from across the bay. His hands were black with oil as he worked on the damaged mining engine. He had been fixing this machine for 3 days and was tired of everyone staring at Lura like she was a mistake. He straightened up, wiped sweat from his forehead, and called out, "Hey, princess! You gonna stand there all day or give me a hand?" The workers stopped what they were doing. A few even laughed, thinking he was mocking her, but Lura blinked in confusion. "Give hand!" Cole grinned. "Yeah, you got 2 of them, don't you? Let's see if they work." The laughter faded as curiosity replaced it. Lura walked over slowly. Cole handed her a spanner and pointed toward the engine. "This bolt here, tighten it till it doesn't move. You see?" She nodded, copying his motion carefully. Her fingers slipped, the spanner fell, and a loud clang echoed. She gasped and stepped back. "Relax," Cole said calmly. "First rule of fixing things, drop the tool, pick it up, keep going." He handed it back. This time she gripped it tighter. The bolt turned with a creak, then locked in place. Cole nodded. "See, not bad." For the first time, Lura smiled. It was small, shy, but real. Hours passed. Cole showed her how to align circuits, clean filters, and test pressure valves. Lura's movements were awkward at first, but she learned fast. By evening, the massive engine roared to life. The whole bay filled with a low, steady hum. Cole stepped back, grinning. "There we go." "Not bad for your first day, princess." She looked at the glowing machine, eyes wide. "It works?" "It works," he said proudly. The other workers clapped half-heartedly, still unsure how to treat her. But a few nodded with respect. She had done something none of them expected, helped instead of getting in the way. That night, Cole sat outside near the generator yard, drinking recycled coffee from a tin mug. Titan's sky was dark and thick with methane clouds. The faint curve of Saturn glowed in the distance like a golden ghost. He heard footsteps behind him. Lura stood there, holding her hands together nervously. "You did not laugh at me," she said softly. Cole looked up. "Why would I?" "Others did. They always do. Even my people." She sat down beside him slowly, her large frame awkward on the small metal seat. I am wrong shape, wrong size, wrong everything, Cole chuckled. Yeah, well, the galaxy's full of people who think being different means being wrong. Guess that's their problem. She looked at him curiously. You do not fear me? He smirked. I fix reactors that can explode any second. You don't scare me. Laura tilted her head, studying his rough face. He had grease smudges across his cheek, tired eyes, and a stubborn half-smile that seemed to never fade. You are strange, she said. Thanks, he said. So are you. For a moment silence stretched between them. But it wasn't an uncomfortable one. The engines hummed softly in the distance, filling the air with warmth and rhythm. Days turned into weeks. Laura became part of the workshop. At first, people avoided her. But when machines started working better, faster with her help, they began to change. She learned to use welding torches, connect human wires with alien crystal conduits, and even design new energy patterns. Cole noticed how her mind worked. Calm, precise, always curious. One afternoon, she approached him with a strange metal shard glowing faintly blue. What's that? He asked. Part of my father's ships, she explained. It can store energy for a long time, but it burns quickly. Maybe, if combined with your human batteries, it could be balanced. Cole raised an eyebrow. You're thinking of merging alien plasma tech with human circuits? She nodded. He whistled softly. That's insane. I love it. Together they began secret tests after work hours. They built small prototypes, engines that glowed with mixed light, machines that hummed differently. Every night they worked side by side under the dim hangar lights. Laura laughed more often now. She learned human words like wrench, spark, coffee, and even idiot, a word Cole used for himself whenever he dropped something. Idiot, she repeated once, pointing at him with a grin. Cole laughed so hard he nearly fell off the stool. Hey, you're not supposed to call me that yet. But you said it first. Yeah, but it sounds nicer when you say it, he teased. Their laughter echoed across the empty workshop, the kind of sound that didn't belong on a cold moon. But far away, deep in the Emperor's palace, the news reached his throne again. Your daughter has joined the humans fully, his advisor reported. She works with them, eats with them, laughs with them. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Laughs. Yes, my lord. He rose from his throne, anger flickering in his golden eyes. Then let her laugh while she can. The humans think they have found friendship. Soon they will remember their place. The advisor bowed and left. But even he could sense it. Something about this joke was no longer funny. Back on Titan, Cole looked at Laura as she carefully adjusted the power coils of their new machine. A faint hum filled the air, softer, smoother than before. You realize, he said quietly, if this thing works, we'll change everything. Laura looked up, her green eyes glowing faintly in the light. Then let it work, she said. Cole smiled. Now that's the spirit. The machine pulsed once, a deep, living heartbeat of energy. The lights around them flickered blue and gold. Cole and Laura stood side by side, their faces lit by the glow of something entirely new, a creation born not from pride or power, but from trust. Neither of them knew it yet, but that night marked the first time in history that human hands and alien hearts built something together. And somewhere in the cold, dark above Titan, the galaxy began to take notice. The sound of the new engine filled the hangar, deep, smooth, and alive. It was unlike any other human machine. The soft hum had a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Blue light rippled across its metal surface, blending with the golden sparks of human circuitry. Cole stood beside the glowing reactor, wiping sweat from his forehead. You realize what we just did? He said, smiling. Laura tilted her head. We made it work. Not just work, Cole replied. We made something no one's ever built before, a fusion of human mechanics and alien plasma. Laura touched the machine gently. It pulsed beneath her fingers. It feels alive. Cole laughed softly. Yeah, I guess it does. But while they celebrated, cameras in the hangar quietly recorded everything, every spark, every sound, every moment of triumph, and transmitted it back to the Galactic Council. A few days later, the galaxy began whispering. On distant worlds, news networks showed footage of a human mechanic and an alien princess working side by side. Some called it strange, others called it forbidden. But one phrase kept spreading: the unwanted daughter built the impossible. The Dravkar Emperor watched the footage in silent disbelief. His claws tightened around the armrest of his throne. His voice, low and cold, filled the chamber. She was sent there to humiliate humanity, not glorify it. His advisors remained silent. One finally said, "The humans are calling it the hybrid engine. They say it will change interstellar travel forever." The Emperor's eyes burned. "Then we will remind them who gave them their power." On Titan, things were changing fast. The hybrid engine drew attention from human command and alien scientists alike. Reporters arrived. Drones floated around, recording everything. But Lura didn't care about fame. She cared about what the machine represented. Each time the engine pulsed, she felt pride. Not the pride of royalty, but the pride of belonging. Cole noticed it too. "You've changed," he said one evening as they sat near the cooling tanks. Lura looked at him curiously. "Changed?" "Yeah. You used to walk like you were waiting for someone to tell you what to do. Now you walk like you own the place." Lura smiled shyly. "Maybe I am learning from humans." Cole grinned. "Careful. Next thing you know, you'll be drinking bad coffee and cursing at broken bolts." She laughed, a real warm laugh. "Then perhaps I already am human." But not everyone was happy. Some alien delegates sent threats to Earth Command. They called the hybrid engine a violation of royal honor. One even demanded that Lura be returned to her father immediately. Cole overheard a few officers talking about it. "She's not safe," one whispered. "The Emperor won't let this slide." That night he went to her quarters. The lights were dim, and Lura sat by the window staring at the orange haze of Titan sky. "They're talking about sending you back," Cole said quietly. Lura didn't turn around. "I know. You can't go back," he insisted. "He'll destroy everything we made." She looked at him then, her expression calm but sad. "If I stay, he will come here, and he will destroy you." Cole stepped closer. "Then we'll face him together." Lura's eyes widened slightly. "You would stand against an empire? For me?" He shrugged. "I've fixed worse messes." Her lips trembled. "Cole, you are not like other humans." He smiled faintly. "Maybe, or maybe you're not like other aliens." Weeks later, their invention was tested before the Council, a massive assembly of alien and human leaders connected through holographic projection. Cole stood beside Lura, both wearing simple grey suits. The hybrid engine floated in the middle of the room, sealed inside a containment field. A voice spoke through the speakers. "Human mechanic Cole Rayner, Princess Lura of Dravkar. You claim this engine can power a ship for a century." Cole nodded. "It can do more than that. It doesn't just use energy, it creates balance between two worlds," Lura added softly. "It is proof that differences can create harmony, not war," the audience murmured. Many were skeptical, others were curious. "Proceed with the test," ordered the voice. Cole pressed a switch. The hybrid engine came alive, brighter than ever. Blue and gold energy merged, swirling together like twin stars. The ground trembled lightly. A low hum filled the chamber, then steadied into a perfect tone. Monitors flashed data. Stable readings, infinite rotation, zero loss. It worked flawlessly. The room fell silent. Then applause began. Soft at first, then growing. Humans cheered. Some aliens nodded in respect. For a brief moment, the galaxy forgot its divisions. But in the shadows of the Dravkar Palace, the Emperor watched the broadcast with a storm behind his eyes. "They cheer her name," he growled. "They cheer our shame." His war advisor bowed. "Shall I prepare the fleet, my lord?" The Emperor stood slowly. "No more jokes. This time I will remind the galaxy who we are." He looked at the screen one last time, where his daughter stood beside a human, smiling, confident, free. "Ready the ships," he whispered. "We will reclaim her and crush the humans beneath our banners." Back on Titan, as the Council's celebration continued, Lura felt a sudden chill. She turned to Cole. "Something's coming." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "I know my father. He will not stay silent after this." Cole looked at her for a long moment, then said, "Then we get ready. Whatever he brings, we face it together." She nodded slowly. Together. Outside, through the colony dome, the stars shone cold and distant. But one by one, they began to flicker, faint shadows of ships moving in the dark. The hybrid engine pulsed again, as if it could sense the danger approaching. The galaxy had just witnessed humanity's greatest invention. Now it was about to witness humanity's greatest test. The storm came without warning. Titan's sky, usually quiet and orange, turned black as hundreds of warships appeared in orbit, silver daggers cutting through the clouds. The ground shook under the roar of engines. Alarms echoed through the human colony. Inside the command center, red lights flashed. Officers shouted across consoles. Multiple Dravkar warships approaching, energy signatures off the scale. Cole stared at the radar in disbelief. "That's a full Imperial fleet." Lura stood beside him, pale and silent. She didn't need confirmation. She recognized the formation, the Emperor's personal fleet. "He's here," she whispered. Cole turned to her. "You mean your father?" She nodded slowly. "He has come to take me back, or burn this place down." Minutes later, a transmission filled the main screen. The Emperor's massive face appeared, eyes glowing with anger, voice deep and sharp. "Human mechanic Cole Rayner," he said. "You have touched what was never yours. You have defiled royal blood." Cole clenched his fist but said nothing. The Emperor's gaze shifted to Lura. "And you shame our name before the stars. You think you can love one of them? You think you can mix oil with fire?" Lura's voice trembled, but she met his gaze. "I did not come to shame you, I came to live." The Emperor laughed coldly. "Then you will die living like one of them." The transmission cut. Seconds later, the first blast hit Titan's upper dome. The colony shook violently. Sirens screamed. Glass shattered. People ran through smoke and dust. Cole grabbed Lura's hand. "We have to get to the hangar." Together they ran, dodging falling debris. Outside, the sky burned with blue plasma fire. Human defense cannons fired back, but the alien fleet was overwhelming. Cole and Lura reached the workshop, where the hybrid engine stood still inside its containment shell. Cole pointed to it. "That thing's the only shot we've got." Lura's eyes widened. "You mean use it against them?" "Yeah. You said it could power anything, right? Even a shield?" She hesitated. "Yes, but it was never meant for war." Cole met her eyes. "Neither were we." They worked fast. Lura linked the engine to the colony's main power grid, while Cole rerouted the defense system to draw energy from it. Sparks flew as the cables fused. "Ready?" Cole shouted. Lura nodded. "Do it!" Cole slammed the main switch. The hybrid engine screamed to life. Waves of blue-gold light exploded across the colony. For a second, everything froze. Then a massive energy dome expanded outward, covering the entire settlement. The next blast from the Emperor's ships hit the dome and bounced off harmlessly. The humans inside gasped. The shield held. From orbit, the Emperor leaned forward on his throne. "Impossible," his tactical officer stammered. "Their energy readings exceed anything in our database, sire. It's her invention." The Emperor's tail lashed in anger. "Then destroy it. I want that engine turned to dust." But every shot failed. The human colony now glowed like a blue sun under Titan's clouds. On the ground, Cole stood near the humming core, his voice raised over the roar. "It's working." Lura smiled through tears. "The shield is stable. We did it. Then alarms beeped again. Warning, power levels dropping, the console said. Lura frowned. The shield is draining too fast. It needs direct stabilization, Cole turned to her. You mean someone has to go in there? Yes, she said softly. Inside the core. Before he could answer, she stepped toward the engine. Lura, wait. Cole shouted, grabbing her arm. She looked at him gently. You gave me a home, Cole. Let me give you a chance to keep it. He shook his head. No, I'm not losing you, she smiled sadly. You never had to find me to lose me. You only had to believe. Before he could stop her, she slipped into the containment field. Blue light surrounded her completely. The readings stabilized instantly. The shield grew stronger, brighter, almost alive. Cole stared in awe. The hybrid engine pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. Above, the Emperor's ships began to falter. Plasma blasts flickered out. Systems failed one by one. The fleet fell into disarray as the shield emitted powerful energy feedback. Retreat! Pull back! Shouted the alien commanders. But the Emperor refused. No retreat! Fire everything! The last volley of plasma struck the shield, and the energy rebounded tenfold. The explosion ripped through the upper atmosphere, scattering his warships like ashes in a storm. The Emperor's flagship was thrown off course, its hull burning. His pride and his empire crumbled in one blinding moment. When the smoke cleared, Titan was still standing. Humans cheered across the colony. Cole ran to the engine chamber, heart pounding. Inside, the light faded slowly. The containment field dissolved. Lura lay unconscious beside the now quiet core. Cole dropped to his knees beside her. Lura, come on, wake up! Her eyes opened weakly. Is it over? He nodded, his throat tight. Yeah, you saved us, she smiled faintly. Then maybe I was never unwanted. Cole held her close. You never were. Outside, the human flags were raised. The colony lights shone bright through Titan's mist, a beacon of hope. Far away, on a crippled ship drifting through space, the Emperor stared at the fading light of Titan. His once mighty voice was now a whisper. How? Could they do this? His advisor, trembling, replied, Because, my lord. They believed in her. The Emperor closed his eyes, defeated. For the first time in his life, he understood what his empire had never known, that love and unity were powers even stronger than war. Back on Titan, Cole and Lura stood together in the hangar. The hybrid engine hummed softly again, repaired and calm. Outside, humans worked alongside alien refugees who had surrendered. The galaxy had changed. Cole looked at her, smiling. What now, princess? Lura gazed at the horizon, where Saturn's light touched the clouds. Now we build something new, Cole nodded. Together? She took his hand. Always. The camera drones recorded that moment. The human mechanic and the alien princess standing side by side as dawn broke across Titan and across the stars. Worlds whispered a new story. The Emperor's fury ended, but his daughter's hope began. The battle for Titan was over. The sky, once filled with warships and smoke, was now calm, painted with the faint gold glow of Saturn beyond the thick haze. The colony that had almost been destroyed was now quiet. The air buzzed only with the soft hum of rebuilding machines. Cole stood outside the hangar, his hands black with grease as usual, but his heart heavier than ever. Behind him, the hybrid engine glowed softly, no longer a weapon, but a miracle that had saved humanity. Lura was recovering in the medbay. She had been unconscious for 3 days after entering the core. Every hour, Cole checked on her, sitting by her side, talking even when she couldn't respond. Hey, princess, he whispered now, brushing dust off his uniform. You missed another sunrise. Titan's not much for mornings, but still. It's better when you're around. Her eyelids fluttered. Slowly, her emerald eyes opened. You never stop talking, do you? Cole froze, then laughed in disbelief. You're awake. Laura smiled weakly. It seems I am, he leaned forward. You scared me. The doctors said your energy link nearly burned out. She nodded faintly. I became part of the engine, Cole. I could feel its pulse. It was like hearing the heartbeat of the whole colony. Cole shook his head, still amazed. You didn't just save the colony. You saved every human out here. Lura's eyes softened. No, we saved each other. Days passed and the story of Titan spread across the galaxy. The footage of the hybrid engine and the shield that defeated an empire reached every corner of known. Space.news anchors called it the miracle of Titan. Poets called it the... Day love changed physics. Even some alien races, once loyal to the Emperor, began to question everything they'd believed. The image of a human and a Dravkar princess standing side by side broke centuries of prejudice. One evening, the Council from Earth Command contacted Cole and Lura via hologram. A human general appeared on the screen. Engineer Rayner, Princess Lura, humanity owes you both a debt we can never repay. Cole scratched the back of his neck awkwardly. Just doing my job, sir, the general smiled faintly. Your job just united half the galaxy. The Council has voted to name the new technology after you both, the Lura Core engine. It will power every human ship from now on. Lura's eyes widened. After me? Yes, the general said. You've proven that humanity and Dravkar are stronger together than apart. The hologram faded, leaving Lura silent. Cole looked at her and grinned. Well, princess, guess you're officially part of history now. She turned to him, her voice soft. I never wanted history. I only wanted peace, Cole nodded slowly. You gave us both. That night, the colony held a small celebration under the dome. Humans and alien workers, former enemies, gathered around fires and music. Children laughed. Engineers cheered. Cole stood beside Lura, who was wrapped in a warm grey shawl. They used to stare at me in fear, she said quietly. Now they smile. Guess they finally see what I saw, Cole said. She tilted her head. And what did you see, Cole Rayner? He smiled gently. Someone worth fighting for. Her eyes shimmered with emotion. You're strange, human. Yeah, he said. But I make good engines. She laughed softly, a sound that seemed to echo through the stars themselves. But while the colony celebrated, far beyond Titan, the Emperor's broken fleet drifted through space. Many ships were destroyed. Others were silent. The Emperor himself, wounded but alive, sat alone on his damaged throne. For the first time, he watched the broadcasts of the galaxy and saw his daughter's face not as a failure, but as a symbol. Aliens of many races praised her courage. Even Dravkar citizens whispered her name with pride. His aide approached him carefully. My lord, the galaxy follows her now. They speak of her as the voice of peace. The Emperor's eyes, once burning with hate, softened with exhaustion. Peace, he murmured. Something I never gave her. He closed his eyes, and for a long time said nothing. Weeks turned into months. Titan became a symbol of unity, a place where humans and aliens worked together freely. The hybrid engine was replicated and installed across fleets on both sides. Cole and Lura spent their days building, teaching, and learning from each other. She taught humans how to balance energy the Dravkar way. He taught her the art of fixing things with human creativity and stubbornness. One night, as they stood on the observation deck, the faint glow of Saturn lighting their faces, Lura asked quietly, Do you ever think about what we started? Cole shrugged. Every day. Still feels unreal sometimes, she smiled. Perhaps that is what makes it beautiful. He looked at her for a long moment. You know, the galaxy's got its first peace treaty in centuries, all because of you. Lura shook her head. No, Cole. Because of us. You showed me that worth is not given by birth, but by choice. He grinned. And you showed me that the galaxy's biggest miracles happen when people stop caring about who's supposed to be better. Then, for the first time since the war, a message arrived from the Emperor himself. The screen flickered, showing his aged face. He spoke slowly, with the weight of regret in his tone. Lura, I once sent you away to shame humanity. Instead, you showed the galaxy what strength truly means. I was wrong. The Dravkar Empire was wrong. Lura's breath caught. I will not return to power, he continued. But I ask, may I see the engine? The one you built with your human? She turned to Cole, who nodded silently. Together, they activated a private holographic channel. The Emperor watched in silence as the Luracore engine pulsed, gold and blue, alive and beautiful. He whispered, "It's perfect." Lura's voice trembled. "Not perfect, Father. Just human." The Emperor smiled faintly for the first time. "Then it is better than anything I ever made." The transmission ended. Later that night, Cole and Lura stood beneath the stars again. The engine hummed behind them, casting soft light over their faces. "Think he'll ever visit?" Cole asked. "Maybe one day," Lura said softly. "But even if he doesn't, I know he finally understands." Cole took her hand. "And the rest of the galaxy?" She smiled. "They will learn. Love is not weakness. It's power," Cole nodded. "The kind that defies the stars." They stood together in silence as the hybrid engine glowed brighter, reflecting off the glass dome above them, a living reminder that what began as a cruel joke had become a love story that changed the universe forever. A year had passed since the Battle of Titan, the day when an unwanted princess and a simple human mechanic changed the galaxy. Forever, the hybrid engine, now called the Luracore, powered fleets across hundreds of worlds. It didn't just run ships, it connected species. Human engineers worked beside alien scientists, and for the first time in history, the Galactic Council held meetings where laughter replaced insults. But for Cole Rayner and Princess Lura, life remained simple. They still lived on Titan, in the same colony where it all began. Cole worked in the hangar, fixing ships and joking with new recruits. Lura often joined him, her hands no longer soft and royal, but strong and stained with machine oil. Every now and then, a young mechanic would ask, "Is it true you built the first hybrid engine with her?" Cole would grin and reply, "Not with her, because of her." One quiet morning, a convoy of ships appeared in orbit. Not warships this time, but silver vessels carrying the banners of peace. The Galactic Council had arrived. Lura stood beside Cole as the ships descended. "They came for us?" she asked softly. Cole nodded. "Guess we're finally famous." She smiled nervously. "I was never good with crowds." "Don't worry," he said, smirking. "Just pretend they're engines. They break just as easily." The ceremony took place on Titan's main platform. Thousands gathered, humans, aliens, engineers, diplomats. Flags from every known world fluttered under the dome's glow. The once broken colony now stood as the heart of a new alliance. At the center stood Lura and Cole, facing the Council's High Chancellor, an ancient alien with silver skin and kind eyes. "Today," the Chancellor said, his voice echoing through the hall, "we honor two souls who proved that love, courage, and understanding can do what war never could, unite the stars." He turned to Lura, Princess of Dravkar, once cast aside, now the symbol of peace, and Cole Rayner of Earth, whose hands built the bridge between worlds. The crowd erupted in applause. Lura bowed her head, overwhelmed. Cole scratched his neck awkwardly. Thanks," he muttered. The Chancellor raised a shining medal, half gold, half blue, shaped like the hybrid engine. "From this day forward, you will both hold the title of Ambassadors of the Stars." The medal glowed as it touched their chests. Lura felt warmth spread through her body, not from pride, but from the knowledge that her pain had finally meant something. Cole whispered beside her. "Well, Princess, looks like the galaxy just bowed to us," she smiled softly. "No, Cole. They bowed to what we built together." Later that evening, after the ceremony, the two sat on the hangar roof, looking at the stars beyond Titan's clouds. The colony was alive with light and music. People danced, laughed, and shared food, humans and aliens together. Cole leaned back, arms behind his head. "You know, a year ago I thought my biggest dream was fixing old reactors." Lura turned to him. "And now?" He chuckled. "Now I'm sitting next to the most famous alien in the galaxy." She smiled gently. "You're more famous than me, Cole. Children on Dravkar now play with toy wrenches and say, 'I'm the human who built the stars.'" He laughed so hard he almost spilled his drink. "I'll never get used to that." But not everything was celebration. Across the galaxy, remnants of the old empire still existed. Warlords, smugglers, and broken fleets. Some feared that peace wouldn't last. Lura knew this too. There are still those who hate us, she said quietly. They whisper that humanity doesn't belong among the stars. Cole looked at her seriously. Then we'll remind them why they're wrong. How? She asked softly. He pointed to the glowing engine in the distance. Same way we did before. We build, we help, we fix things, Lura smiled. You humans always fix things. And you, he said. You taught us to care about why we fix them. The next day, the council offered Lura and Cole a seat at the Capitol on Helion Prime, but they refused. Lura told them, peace is not made in halls. It is made in places like this, in hangars, in homes, between hearts that dare to trust. The Chancellor nodded in respect. Then Titan shall remain the new capital of unity, and so it did. Titan transformed into a living monument of cooperation. New cities rose. Young aliens came to learn human engineering. Humans traveled to other worlds to share ideas. Where once there was war, now there was trade. Where once there was hatred, now there was laughter. One evening, a small ship landed outside the colony, old, battered, and marked with the crest of the fallen Dravkar Empire. Lura froze when she saw the symbol. It's my father's. The ramp lowered and an aged figure stepped out. The Emperor, frail, humbled, no longer wearing gold armor but a simple traveler's cloak. Everyone watched silently as he approached. Lura stepped forward, unsure. He bowed. For the first time in his long life, he bowed to someone else. My daughter, he said softly. I came not as an emperor, but as a father who finally learned. Tears filled Lura's eyes. Father, you shouldn't have come. I had to, he said. I wanted to see what hope looks like, and now I see it stands beside a human with grease on his hands. Cole grinned. You're not wrong, sir. The Emperor actually smiled. No, for once. I'm not, he turned to his daughter. You showed me that power is not domination, but compassion. Lura stepped forward and hugged him, something no one had ever seen a Dravkar ruler do. The crowd cheered, and for the first time, the Emperor's eyes filled with tears. That night, as the stars shimmered above Titan, Cole, Lura, and the Emperor stood together on the observation deck. The hybrid engine glowed softly in the background, a symbol of what once divided them, now binding them forever. Lura looked out at the stars. Do you think they'll remember us? She asked. Cole smiled. Every ship that flies, every engine that hums, every world that dares to believe in peace, that'll be us. The Emperor nodded slowly. Then the galaxy will never forget. When dawn came, the sun's light broke through Titan's haze, bathing the colony in gold. Children of every race played under banners of peace. The galaxy had bowed, not to armies or empires, but to unity, and in the history books of every world, the story was written in one simple line. What began as an insult became the love that united the stars.